Hey guys, JC Smith here. It's probably pretty loud. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me. Bringing back this 2002 International 4700. It's got 123,000 miles on it. It has kind of a service body. It's a flatbed with a bunch of toolboxes on it. It's got air operated PTO. The T444E with a 6+1 Spicer transmission. It runs really good. I'm pulling some pretty heavy hills right now. I got the cruise set at 70 and I'm dropping down to about 64, so that's not horrible considering what it is. Surprisingly, the air conditioning is working in cold, which is really nice. Remember the video from if you watch the video on these trailers, this is the truck I bought, and I'm thinking about putting my dump bed on this. Because my little dump truck's got a DT466, which I like, but it's a lower horsepower, and it's got an Allison 18545 4-speed transmission on hydraulic brakes and 19.5 tires. I would like to have 22.5 tires and air brakes, which this truck has air brakes, plus this truck has air ride passenger and driver's seat both on leaf spring suspension. I don't want air ride suspension for the dump truck, but it is nice to have the air ride seats. Now it is just a 2-seater, it's not a bench like the dump truck is now, but that's really not a big deal. It's gonna be alright. But so far so good. It's charging good. Temperature's running about 180, 190, and oil pressure's running right about 50 pounds. That's pretty good. And bolts are good. And like I said, the cruise control and air conditioning work. So, and the cab on this truck and the frame is in really nice shape. The tires are all in good shape. It has one on the back that's a mismatch. I'll probably change that out. Yeah, so doing pretty well. I'm pretty pleased with it. Getting down the highway, like I said, it's holding 70 until we hit a hill, and I'm getting down to about 64 so far. I'm all right with that because there's some pretty good sized hills and pretty long. Now the truck empty is weighing in at 15,000 pounds. Actually, let me look. I got a sticker here. Yeah, it's not right. 16,980. So it's not exactly light. I mean, 17,000 is about what a road tractor weighs. A tandem axle road tractor with sleeper. So anyhow, still pretty good. So I'll bring you back once we get back home and take a look at it and show you all what it's all about. All right, guys. Hold on. Check out the rookie sticks. Sprayers along here about 70. Pretty well. Not too bad at all. Pretty comfortable ride, really. This air seat's set up just about right for me. Alright, I'll show you more once we get back. It came to me, I was just sitting here thinking as I'm driving, I was going to look at another truck. I did. I looked at another truck this morning, and it was a 99 4700. Had a DT466. He told me it was a 6+1 Spicer, but it wasn't. It was just a straight 5-speed. Traditionally, what we see is if you got a 5-speed with a DT466, that's an extremely low horsepower motor. So I looked at it, and it was 100. I believe it was 190 horse or 170. It was very low horsepower, which it doesn't do me any good because it was an electronic engine. I could have it turned out by gas, but there's just too many things about the truck I didn't like. The tires were mediocre. They told me they were really nice, but they're probably, I don't know, they're less than a quarter tread on all 6 tires. They did all match, the 4 drives match, the front 2 steers match, but it wasn't matter with not much tread on them. The cab underneath was pretty rusty. It was hydraulic brakes. They said it was air. If you've owned that truck since brand new, how do you not know it's hydraulic brakes? The frame was pretty rusty. Like I said, under the cab mounts and the firewall were kind of rusty, and it wasn't appealing to me. It if I'm going to upgrade one of my other trucks, I want to do better than what I've got. And that wasn't. I mean, it did have low. I think it was 100. I have to figure this out. 134,000 miles, I believe, that truck had. And it was spring suspension. It had an 18-foot box on it, which I would have taken off. But I don't know. I didn't buy it. The number wasn't a bad deal, but for all the things that didn't suit my needs, it wasn't a great deal either. So I just want to let you know I passed on that one. I didn't buy it. If something happens and I don't know, their number that they need for it drastically changes, and I buy it, I'll let you know. I'll do a video on it, but I seriously doubt it. I pretty much I just passed on it. Really didn't suit what I'm looking for. Like I said, if I'm going to replace one of my trucks, I'd like to be something better. Now the DT466 would have been better, and in that horsepower range, I should have been able to get that up to about 220, 230, something like that, I'm guessing. However, the specs on that transmission, I mean, the ratios are just too far apart. You know, you got one really low gear for first, and then you've got 4 regular gears. Well, that's what the AT545 is, just basically 4 forward gears, and it just doesn't do me any good. And I'm not going to buy a truck. I got to change the transmission in just so I can replace something else. There's plenty of trucks out there. I'll just keep looking. It's not a big deal. So, anyways, we're buzzing along pretty nice here. No complaints. So, like I said, I'll bring you back once we get back, and I'll show you the truck. Buzzing along, doing pretty well here. In case you guys are curious, from yesterday when I told you about my Freightliner running out of diesel fuel, I went ahead and stopped and put $50 worth of diesel in this truck just to make sure that fuel gauge doesn't work. I don't want to read pizza yesterday. That was a big kick in the tail. It cost me quite a bit of time messing around. But anyways, I just thought I'd share that with you. I thought I did stick in the tank just to see how much fuel was in them, but you know, sometimes an ounce of prevention is a pound of cure. So, anyways, we got plenty of fuel. It's charging pretty good. I can hear the cooling fan coming on and off with the air conditioning. So that works out pretty well. That was pretty bouncy, but not bad. Like I said, I got no complaints. She's doing pretty well. So, all right, guys, I'll show you in a minute. Alright, so after driving this truck now for a couple hours, you know, I gotta tell you, the only thing any downfall or any negative thing I can say about this truck is just that the T444Es is a little lower on power than what I would like. I mean, you know, what do you expect out of a V8, right? They're not a big torque engine, which, you know, we expect that. That's not a big deal, but, you know, in driving it, I've been kind of thinking about, I may just, if I decide to go ahead and do the swap, I put the bed on here and put my dump bed on. Everything else is a really nice combination. You know, that 6+1 is fantastic. It's got the PTO already on it. It's got that nice set of control switches. You know, I don't need that for this truck, but I could use them on the record. You know, this might be a truck that's worth putting a DT466 in. Maybe just a regular old mechanical pump, you know, no electronics. This would be a really great truck. I mean, it's okay now. It's just a little bit less power than I would like to have ideally. But this is a pretty rare international. This instrument cluster has worked the whole entire way home. It's never went out. So that's pretty good. Typically, if you've had any experience with internationals in the 4700s and the 4900s, I don't even know if there's maybe in some others, but those are the ones I've had experience with, that the instrument clusters are what we call summer gauges. Some are working and some are not. Or the whole cluster just shuts off when, you know, sometimes you'll have speedometer and tach, and you won't have some of the other stuff, or you'll lose everything. Typically the air pressure you won't lose because it's a direct, you know, in most cases it's a direct oil line, or air line, I'm sorry. But anyhow, no real complaints. It's a little lower in power than I would ideally like to have for a dump truck, but I don't know that I wouldn't I wouldn't swap in a DT466. There's so much good about this truck that's nice. I mean, the firewall on this thing is like the day it was made. The underside of the cab mounts are in really, really great shape. The transmission is really tight. The air brakes are very good. I got enough pieces to make this a DT466, and I'm just gonna have to, you know, look at that and see where I want to go from here. So, anyways, we're only about 15-20 minutes away, so I'll be able to show you a walk around and all this. This truck's got a lot of extras on it, you know. But I'll show you. It'd be easier to show you than tell you. Alright, so after driving this truck for a couple hours now, I still don't really see anything wrong with it. I can tell you this, it will do just at 75 miles an hour. So that tells me it's got a pretty good highway gear in the rear. I'm betting it's going to be like a 413 or something like that, which it's great on the highway, but it doesn't help it with the lower speeds, taking off from the stop sign, that kind of stuff. So, anyways, it's one of the things that, you know, you sacrifice one thing for another. Now, one thing you typically don't like to see is a low horsepower engine with a tall highway gear, because it doesn't matter if you can do 75 if every time you come to a hill you're down to 40. Now, that's not the case in this truck. This truck actually did pretty well, but I can't complain. But, what I was getting at was, I like this truck a lot, and I believe it's worth maybe doing an engine swap on it. You know what? Here's my neighbor. I'm going to talk with him just a minute. Well, we made her home. And this is her 2002 International 4700 series with a T444E, a Spicer 6+1, 22.5 tires, really, really good 22.5 tires. That's probably some of the nicest tires I've ever bought on a truck, or nicest tires ever on a truck I bought. How about that? Not even caps. Look at that virgin tread. Same thing on there. This, I'm not sure. I didn't measure how long that is, but I believe that part of the bed from this brake right here back to here is 12 foot, if I remember right. And up here, this is where they had a welder and a generator sat up in this area here. And you see the fuel line, fuel supply and return here. And they had a plug here. They had another plug towards the back, but there's the hydraulic cooling unit, the tank and the reservoir, and there's actually a cooler back there, and then there's a hydraulically driven air compressor. That looks like it's probably just a 2-cylinder. Yeah, it looks like it's just a twin with it's hard to see, but there's a hydraulic motor back there. It drives it. Spring suspension. So big toolboxes. Good Lord, that's some big toolboxes. And they're all independent, so we can take them off and use them for other things. That's a nice big cabinet. Man, you can make a heck of a toolbox, a roll cart out of one of them, I bet. And we got keys for all these too, which is pretty cool. They're all in pretty good shape except for the one. This one's still pretty good. That one on top opens from the top. It's like flips open this way, like that. It's kind of like a chest type deal. No real rust on these ones. I mean, some surface stuff, but it won't come out. This truck came out of Virginia. And here was, let me think what was here. I think they had their grease gun set up here, and I can't remember now what they were telling me. But anyways, this cabinet was set up with a couple tanks. And I'll show you what it was. It must have been something that got hot or they wouldn't have had louvers in there, but you see they have the little fair lead here and a fair lead here for the hoses. And then we got this almost new lift gate, this Tommy gate. I mean, that's set up, you could use that on a pickup truck. It's really kind of narrow, but I understand why it's like this, but it's actual Tommy gate. And I've checked it out, it works, and you know, deck's in good shape. The whole thing's in really nice shape. And then back here, this is the only one that's got any damage to it. I could scraped it against something, but it still opens all right. And there's our hydraulic hose reel. This is hydraulic PTO pressure. The PTO runs a hydraulic pump, and then they've got it all set up here through regulators. And what they've done is they brought pressure. Well, I'll just show you. Here's what it is. You can go to the off position with no pressure, 5 gallons per minute, 10 gallons per minute, and then you can change all these out for, you know, the 5 gallon split return, whatever you need. And then it comes up into this coil, and right here you have your PTO power if you're running, which I'm sure what they were doing was this is owned by the railroad, so this was probably for their PTO saw for cutting rail, the actual rail itself, the steel rail. They use a hydraulic cutter when they have to replace a section, so that's probably what that was. I'm not sure if they bolted together with a hydraulic impact maybe or not. I don't know. But so there's that control box, and yet another massive cabinet. I mean, these things are just huge. I'm very happy that you can see in between them. Maybe there's daylight between them, so they're not bolted together, which is really nice, so that I can take them off this flatbed and use them for something else. It is really, really hot. I left, it was 80 some degrees, and right now we're in the low 90s, and the humidity is very high. Boy, is that a nice big cabinet. Well, you can make a nice roll cabinet with these. I mean, geez, that's a lot of cabinets. But anyways, we'll be taking all this off. Now this part here is split. I don't know if I can really show that here because they've got it welded, but the front section is separate from this part, so we'll cut this weld, we'll cut this out, and that'll be 2 separate pieces. It might be easier if I just slice this out here with the plasma cutter. Slice that out like that. I don't know, I'll get into it and see. But that bed's gonna come off. It's got one stack here, which that's okay. Tons and tons of lights. Extra, these lights here. They call them step lights, but there's no step there. And here's another air compressor coupling. They're all over this place, all over that truck. Someone's replaced that tank. What year is that? That's 2012 they replaced that one. And again, the tires are in really nice shape. Back tires are in really nice shape. This one here. Now see, that's the one that's a mismatch I was telling you about. It's still got really, really deep tread, but they must have had a problem somewhere along the line and just put that one in. I do not like Goodyear tires, but being though these are, you know, virgin 22.5s and not caps, I'll run them. But you can see the body's in really, really good shape for around here. I mean, the truck come out of Virginia, but you can see how clean that is, and you see what's going on here. And this stuff here, this is the diesel pump they were using to supply that generator, that welder generator that was in here. They just teed off of the supply line right here, but we'll do away with that because we don't want that to become a problem, and we don't need it. So, but anyways, a little bit of road rash here, and the rookie stick didn't make it. I'll yank that crap off. This one seems to be alright. There she is, T444E.
Got a power steering leak in this reservoir up here. It's kind of getting on the fan shroud. And this is, yeah, it's a 230 horse T444E, but yeah, see how nice the firewall is here. And if you guys don't know, when they use the T444E, they don't cut the dog box out and they don't cut the floor out. But like if you were to use this cab on another truck that had like a DT466 or something larger, you can cut that out and put the dog box right in there, and you can change out the floor plate. You cut it out and you change the floor plate out, and you can go right to the bigger engines, and not a problem. But it's got good tires, good shocks, good brakes. It handled down the road really nice, went straight. The air conditioning was nice and cold. Again, bottoms of the doors are in nice shape. It's dirty because it's a work truck, but you know, that's pretty nice for us, that's for sure. And it's got a lot of years as far as I'm concerned. And it's got this secondary tank here, this little bitty one. I think these are like, what, 30 gallons or something? They're not a lot. It's so hard to read these things here because years and years of whatever, and the paint's so thick. This one's original to the truck, and it holds 28 gallons. Well, it draws 28 gallons is what it says. Yeah, that's about the best I can read. Draws 28 gallons. That sure looks like, yeah, I guess that's right. Could be. Anyways, so pretty neat old truck. Can't wait to get all the crap off of it and get her down to just a cab and chassis. The PTO is air operated, as you can see right there, that red knob, red and yellow knob. It does have an exhaust brake on it. I tried on the way home, coming down a hill, just to see if it worked, and it does. So that was neat. But yeah, my only complaint is just the fact that this would be the perfect truck if it had a DT466 in it. But I don't know if I'd swap that out or not. May not be worth it. We'll think about it. I don't know. I do have a mechanical DT466 sitting around. I could put in this and have an extremely nice truck for what I want to do. Now you can see the frame stretches out here quite a bit. The reason for that was it was ordered that way. This is a rail option truck, rail frame truck. That's why you see these here, and that's why there's a valve here. That's why the hood has a cutout, like you'd see on a snowplow. But I don't really care about that because it doesn't have a PTO pump out here like a lot of the dump trucks do. You know, the pump that runs off the front of the crank. So when time comes, we'll probably just cut the frame right in here, cut this part off, and make us a nice bumper to come around and protect the edge of the frame and still let the hood tilt, if we get that far. Or we'll just leave this on and take the rest of this rail stuff off, and I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? So, anyways, there she is. Pretty decent old truck, I gotta tell you. Pretty happy. It looks so weird right now because there's so much. If you look at the bed, you have just about as much in front of the bed as you do after, which I guess that makes sense because I figured this was a from here back is a 12-foot bed, and this is like a 30-inch cabinet, so it'd be pretty close. But what we'd end up doing is probably cutting the frame right here at this leaf spring hanger, so we would have a 10-foot back of the cab to the edge of the frame. I wouldn't want to be any more than 10'4". That'd be as much as I'd want for a dump truck. So anyhow, there she is in her entirety, and like I said, as soon as we get some time, we'll start taking it apart. I'll take that lift gate off. We'll sell that because we don't want that. I don't know. Actually, so what we'll do is we'll take, to make this easier to get off, I'll probably take these 3 toolboxes off first, and then after that we'll take, actually I'll take the lift gate off first because I have it welded to the back of that box. So we'll take that lift gate off, and we'll probably sell that because I really have no use for that at all. These 3 boxes we'll probably hang on to, because I'm sure there'll be another project somewhere I can use that on. This we'll keep all 2 boxes, and then we'll take the bed off, and we'll get rid of that. We'll sell that off, and any other material parts or pieces we don't need, we'll just take off and get rid of, and get it down to just the cabin chassis, and then we'll go from there, see what it turns into. So anyhow, all right, I'm gonna leave you at that. If you guys like what we're doing, give us these thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Get some more stuff coming. I went and looked at other truck, and like I said, it just didn't suit me. It wasn't what I wanted, so I didn't buy it. But anyways, we'll bring you along for the next one. Thanks, guys. Extremely nice condition. The deck's, all the tread plate's good. It can't be that old. In fact, I think I got paperwork with this. 1,600 pounds, and it's an all up to date. Now they've got it welded here and here. It's welded to this toolbox, so we'll have to cut that off. But we're going to take the Tommy gate off, and it's got some welds right here to the bed. We'll cut that out, and one right here. Looks like they got a brace right in here with a little bit of extra. So we'll get the Tommy gate off. We'll take all these toolboxes off, and there's a lot. And this side's the same way. I mean, it's a good sized toolboxes on there, and they're still individual. They didn't weld them together, which is really nice. You can see maybe you can see the air gap between there. That's just a PVC pipe you see up there. So we'll take all this apart, get all these toolboxes off, and we'll split the bed. Now, those 2 platforms are 2 different pieces in that front section until it gets up to here, and for whatever reason they welded these 2 together. I don't know why. I guess they kind of run out of space here, but some of this is welded to this toolbox, so we may have to do something a little different here. Maybe cut it in here, because I'm sure this comes off the front of this bed, and they just brought this bar out to weld this box to. So we'll figure it out. We'll see what we got to do here and get it all cleaned up. Hopefully I can just cut this here, cut these small welds here, and take the bed away. That would be ideal. But okay, so it has a hydraulic pump also. The hydraulic pump is set up so that they could run, if you're not familiar with the railroad, when they have to cut one of the rails, they use a hydraulic saw, and it has a feed and a return, of course. So this can be set up for 5 gallons per minute, 10 gallons per minute. You can split the flow, and 5 or 10 gallons a minute, or 5 here, and with returns. So you can do whatever you want. And those regulator, or this selection valve here, comes up into this tool cabinet where it has this big reel. Now this reel, if I'm not mistaken, that's a 100-foot reel. I can't remember for certain, but anyways, you have both pressure and return in here, and then it comes back into here, and then there's where it comes in this fair lead here for a quick disconnect. So set up pretty well. And then if you remember, I told you about the 110. There's a 110 plug on a GSI back there. Of course, all that'll get torn off. All the tires are just fantastic. I mean, these are all like new, virgins, not recaps. This one's a virgin also, but they must have had trouble somewhere. I mean, it's still 90%, 95% tread tire, but not the same one. So I'll probably find one of these G182 RSDs and put it on there. This tank was replaced in 2012. We got paperwork for that. There's air compressor fittings for airlines everywhere on this truck. And see, this is that fuel line I was telling you about. This is where they took it from this fuel tank. I don't know why they wouldn't have pulled from the other one. It's kind of weird to me, but this doesn't matter. But you can see underneath this, see how clean this is. This was one of the biggest reasons I bought this truck. Is, the body's in nice shape. There's a little bit of road rash here. I've hit something. This is the old rail system right here. We're lowered the front 2 rated PTO, as you see right there, and all our switches up here, and so on and so forth. Guys, like I said, I'm not disappointed at all. Very pleased with the truck. we'll get all this extra crap off of it, get rid of it, keep what we want, get rid of what we don't want, and it should turn out to be a pretty cool truck if we can get the time to get it together. That's it's hard to find a rust-free cab like that. And you know, if you guys aren't familiar, or you might see that the firewall on this is straight down right behind right in the front. There's no cutout in here. Internationals makes this. You can actually find the dimples around there where you can cut that center section out and you cut the floor out, and you can put the doghouse right in here if you put a DT 466 in, or if you had an L10 or whatever it is you were running. So if I did decide to put a DT 466 in this, I'll have to get that dog box and put it in there just to make enough room to get my memory card filled up here. Anyways, if I wanted to put a DT 466 in this, I'll have to cut that box out. I'm sorry, the firewall. You can see where that ribbing is right here. It comes around this way. I can cut that out, and the dimples are there where the bolt holes go, and I could bolt the dog box in there. You also have to go inside to the floor and cut the floor out and change that plate to the L10 or DT 466 or whatever it is combination you be running. I don't know if we'll change this engine or not for as little as I do use a dump truck, but I don't know. We'll see. The option's there if I want to. This thing could do just fine the way it is. I could probably have a little bit more power if I took off these 11R 22.5s and went with low pros, which I'm not against, because I got one bad tire that I just got for my Freightliner, and I wouldn't be against putting these tires on my Freightliner and you know, getting some low pros. I think I have some, what are they, 255/80 22.5s, and if I did that, I would probably raise the RPMs a few hundred, so it would for sure have more low-end power, because I really have no anticipations, no plans of using this as a highway truck. It's very just a happy accident it had that gear in it. Either that, or I have another air brake axle that is I have a 513, and I think I have a high 490 or something like that. I could just change the rear axle out, or change the carrier out and have a better gear, but I don't know, we'll see. But that's the truck, that's what it is. Hopefully it should turn into a pretty nice, it is a pretty clean truck. I mean, you could use a wash job and a few other things, but mechanically it's pretty good shape. So that's all I got for now, guys. If you like what we're doing, give us these thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I'll bring you around for the next part of this project.